Green bomber.
The green bomber.
And that's my own fly.
Whoa.
Yeah. It would turn out to be my best dry fly last year. And it looks like a Casaboo, doesn't it? No Casaboo red fly, got the same colors, right?
It looks like an orange bomber except it's green.
Yeah, like yellow tail, and fluorescent this, that, and everything else. It's a good fly.
Alrighty.
It worked out well on Harry's and Lower Humber and down Lomond.
Okay. Well, to help you tie the green bomber, here's the list of materials you're going to need. The hook is a number 4 streamer. The thread is flat wax and black 3/0 monocord. The tail is yellow calf tail. The hackle, fluorescent green. The body is green deer hair clipped. The wings, yellow calf tail. The front hackle is grizzly dyed fluorescent green, and the head is black. And that's everything you'll need to tie the green bomber. Alrighty.
Okay, we're going to tie our thread on it first. Now,
Alrighty, we got the green.
Now we got green flat wax, but you could use black or white or green. I like to keep it fairly close to the color of the body material that we'll be using, right?
Okay.
So we're going to go about 1/3 of the hook shank.
We got that nice long hook.
And tie it in to about halfway between the point and the barb. And that's as far as we're going to go back.
Okay.
And what we'll do now is we'll bring it back up to the front again. And
I guess for a beginner too, it's nice to start tying with streamers and stuff like that because it's just a bigger working surface, like anything, you know?
Yep, definitely. I'm going to lay some cement down.
Is that what, would salmon flies therefore be a little easier sometimes than trout flies? Because generally you're looking at bigger hooks?
Bigger hooks, definitely. Now we're going to get some yellow calf tail.
Alrighty. You dyed that yourself?
No. I didn't. Oh yes, I did. I dyed this one, yeah. It's a sort of a yellowish orange, this one. I like that.
I should bring in that material we dyed when we did that show once.
Oh, you got it home? Or do I have it?
You got it.
Oh, I got it. Yeah, I got it home then. So we're going to stack that up for our tail. Not too big a section on this one.
No.
Now, calf tail's a little harder to even up because of where it's so kinky, eh? But we'll do it.
The calf is kinky?
Yeah, I guess, yeah. There we go. We'll just take some of the extraneous fibers. Do you like that word?
Big word. Every week, Rob has a new word.
Yeah. And we'll lay some cement down again.
Green bomber, what are we looking at in terms of type of fish we're after and conditions?
From the middle of June on.
Okay.
Is dry fly time, and that's when the bombers are good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
well, you want to look to see signs that the fish are coming to the surface.
Oh yeah, but if you know a pool, if you're in a certain water that you know it's been good water for you for dry fly anyway, that's when you'll poke it on. But good at the tail outs. I like it better fished dead drift rather than skating or rippling, right? Okay, now we're just going to come out past the bend a little bit with the tail material.
So you want slower moving water?
Yeah, I prefer. And I found number 6 long shank hook the best last year. But we did take a nice one on the Lower Humber on a fly this size. And a number 8's out to Harry's and Robinson's, I believe I got a fish on it. Now,
and we're frequently talking about the Humber and the usage of orange.
Yeah.
You know, orange, and we've tied an orange bomber before.
Well, orange bugs are good up there.
Now, what would you do what would be an indication to you to not bother with the orange and go with the green? Is it just because it's just a different color?
Yeah, like if you know that stretch of water has been fished hard with, and you can see it, most people use orange bugs, right? And you go out and you throw it something different.
Might be just a charm.
Bango. Yeah. Not blue.
Not the blue charm, no. You should have tied this for St. Patrick's Day.
Yes, eh?
Would have been quite appropriate.
Okay, now I've got the hackle right here tied in, and what I've done is I've got the dull side forward. Because as I wrap that material...
It's a long piece of hackle.
Is it ever? Oh, as I wrap that material, I want the hackle's fibers to be pointed forward, slanted forward.
Okay.
Okay, we tied that in at the rear, came up and buried our stem in, and now we're going to start spinning some deer hair.
Oh, yay.
Oh, yay. Our favorite. This piece of deer hair is compliments of Frank Walsh from St. John's.
He sent it out to you?
No, Frank comes in every summer.
Oh, really?
Frank's a good friend of mine, yeah. Now, the first bunch, I clip the tips off.
Both ends?
Yeah, well, you tear it off you cut it off the skin so it's evened up this way. And I usually cut off the stems, or excuse me, the tips on the first bunch because it makes it a lot easier. Okay, now I tied it in with 3 or 4 turns. I'll turn it over and I see that I have a bare spot down there.
You do? I wasn't going to point it out because I didn't want to embarrass you in front of everybody.
Don't embarrass me, my son.
You're so hard to embarrass, I know.
Yeah. I clip off the tips on the first bunch because it's easier to work around that hackle that we've got to do. We don't want to clip that out, you know. So I pretty well got it the length that I want it on the rear. So let that spin around.
Right.
Come a little forward. See how it fluffs up. Then we'll turn our voice back over.
That real voice is quite handy.
To my mind, is the best on the market.
Yeah. I suppose once you get used to it, then try and use something else that doesn't have the
hook holding power more so than the rotary features is why I like it, because you got to use a lot of pressure on your flies if you want them to hold together. Now I'm not going to clip the tips off this one. I'm just going to lay it on it. And take 2 turners around and work it through, right? And there's lots of pressure to kick that hair up. And we'll just kick it back a little bit. Now.
Deer hair is the best for this?
Yes, no doubt about it.
Because you're allergic to it, no substitutes that you would use?
Not on a bomber.
For the floating capabilities
no,
of the hair?
No. Again, I'm not pushing it back really hard, I'm just feeling.
So you're doing 2 loose loops and then pulling it down tight.
Yeah, because if you just use if you use 1 loop, sometimes it'll just flick out. So the 2 loops really helps, right? And that flat wax thread, you can put a lot of pressure on that.
Yeah.
I know people who use 6-0 thread on their bugs. That's fine. Oops, I just push that down a little bit.
So are you just wrapping right in one spot, or are you wrapping?
No, I'm wrapping just a little bit forward at each wrap. I'll slow down that next series of wraps now.
Yes, buddy. What's your hurry? Where are you going?
Well, these are time-consuming flies. And we don't want to get into a situation like we've been doing the past few shows. You yapping off, and we can't finish the show. What? Your mother's going to blow that one.
I tell you.
Tell her about your mother.
My folks live in St. John's, and she called me up after one of the shows was on. She said, "Boy, he was giving you a hard time in that one."
But see, Mrs., you don't hear him when he's off the air.
Yeah.
But I'm sure now you raised him, so you know what he's like.
It's taken 4 years to get him to loosen up on the show. So
Yes.
I'm not gonna clamp him down now.
No. Okay. No, it was all in fun. Yes, sir. Hey, John took it serious. Well, let's give up. Okay. Now, I've gone back quite a ways now. I've got quite a space left in front, but remember, I got to put my wings on, and I got to wrap a hackle. So I'm going to go put in 1 more small bunch.
You want to leave some room there
because we got to put wings on, like the wolf type wings, and we've got to put our hackle in, and we got to clip this. Okay, 2 wraps around. See that? And I wrap back a little bit, and then I wrap forward. Now I'm going to shove that back with, a fair bit of pressure, and I'll do the 1-hand whip.
Whoa! Check this out. The 1-handed whip.
Showing off now.
I tell you, we show your whip finish in last week's show from your video, and then what do you got to do? You got to go turn around and go do an option on it with the 1-handed version.
Now, this is a tip that Claire Wareham showed me. I was,
King of Humber.
King of Humber. Now, like, we just pushed that back, and we tied it off and whatever, and all the hair was kicked back like this right here. And I was wondering why for many years I couldn't get a nice tapered body. You've got to pull that hair forward, and there's hairs that get bound down and whatever. Yeah, against the grain. There's hair that gets bound down, and you don't see it, and when you finish your body, here's all these little hairs, and you're forever trying to get those little hairs clipped out, because they always pop up after, There. What we'll do is we'll take the voice. Now the first clip should be on the bottom, and it should be nice and flat.
You want to be careful too, you don't cut off your hackle that you got.
Oh yeah, I've got that held down with my between my thumb and forefinger. So we got a nice. We really opened the gape on that fly, didn't we? On that first cut. Well,
wicked.
Now we want to have a sort of a hump back on it.
There's no point in having it if the salmon can't set the hook because you got all this hair blocking the gape.
Yeah. And we build a taper so it's thin at the rear, thick at the front. Ever heard that one before?
Thin at the rear and thick at the front?
Yeah, we've always, how many times have we said that this season? Huh?
Countless.
Countless numbers of times. Okay, now we're there. Now we'll just come up. See where I said we'll clip it sort of the length that we want. Now we don't have a lot of clipping back at front, right? When we clipped out those tips the first time, first bunch.
And of course, that's the part where you really need to be careful, because not only do you have your hackle, you've also got your
tail.
Your tail is down there too, so you don't want to be clipping that off.
But it's coming good, I must say.
You commented on one of our earlier shows that this was your least favorite part of fly tying.
Oh, I hate this, yeah.
Of course, now you've got scissors that have a nice bend in them too, so you got the scissors do the taper for you almost.
Yep, no doubt about it. These are Tiemco deer shears. Beautiful. You just touch it, look at everything. Just look, you see this melting right after, isn't it? Okay, that's done.
Put her back down.
Put her in there. Now I can see there's 1 or 2 fibers underneath right there, and I'm just going to lift that tail up just to be careful. We're getting picky here now. Sam don't care.
Not true.
But it matters to us because, like I said before, numerous times.
Confidence.
Confidence is
a good-looking fly. You fish it with confidence.
Okay.
How many times have you said that?
Most important part of the fly, my son. Here we go. Now we're going to bury that shank, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to come forward about halfway. There, lovely. We're going to put in our wings. And this is the same technique as we did last week in our Salmon Adams. We've got to get a bunch of hair.
That you're happy with.
Yeah. You don't have to go excessively heavy on these wings because it'll create a lot of wind resistance.
I have a hard enough time getting that line out as it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
This thing's sailing back in my face.
Yeah, we noticed that.
You taught me, so.
Oh my.
Not my fault.
No, I'll tell you, this is where, if these flies right here, that rod right there would be the real thing. A 9-foot for a number 9 line.
Mm-hmm.
There we are. You want heavier lines for your bigger flies. That's the reason why you use heavier lines. Not because of the wind or the distance or whatever. It's the size of the fly that denotes the size of the tackle you use.
Open.
Okay, now we're not going to go excessively long on this either. Now we could go the length of the shank like we usually do, but my God, you'd have a wing that's way up, you know. So we're going to go, on this particular hook, we're going to go about a half of the body.
Okay.
That would do it. And again, loop and pull down, loop and pull down, loop and pull down 3 times, and just wrap back 4 or 5 wraps. And we'll cut this yellow waist end out.
And tie it down.
Yeah. Not all the way back. Now, again, we'll lift these wings up.
And wrap back.
And we'll split them up a little bit. Now, on this particular type of fly, I'll make my figure 8. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't wrap between the wings. Or like I don't wrap each stem separately.
And why is that?
Because I don't mind if they go together just a little bit, because it creates more resistance in the water now when that's fished with the riffling technique. So I'm pleased with that. Okay, now you said what a nice, lovely long hackle I had.
Good thing you had it.
Hey, okay, what we do here is normally we would just go up in loose wraps, and here we'd finish off here with what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 turns, approximately.
I mean, approximately, that's 5 turns.
Okay, now. Well, you can narrow it up a bit, right?
Oh, okay.
That's up to yourself.
What do you do?
Now, you can do either way, or you can go 2 turns in place.
So you're going to do 5, but you're going to double them?
Yeah.
What's the point of that?
You can that really adds a lot of flotation to the fly.
Not to seem bitter.
Bitter. Actually, I'm going to make a couple of wraps in front of the body, too.
Oh, okay.
Double your money, double your fun.
It's your fly, so you can do whatever you want with it.
Yeah.
I guess that's the beauty of designing your own flies, too, is that if you fooled up halfway through it, nobody really knows because you designed it.
No, you got certain techniques to adhere to most times. Unless you design a different type of fly altogether. Okay, now,
That's what I was going with.
Well, that's that's a dandy fly. Well, I'll guarantee you. That's a pretty little fly.
All right. So we got left to do here.
Okay,
now.
we're going to wrap in our
final
hackles.
hackle.
Now this is grizzly dyed fluorescent green.
Nice too.
Yeah, beautiful. And again, here's the thing. I mean, when you design your own flies, you got to. There's lots of times you got to go dyeing your own hackles, but it gets you closer to the sport, you know. Right?
Does it really?
Yes, sir. Now I got it. I'm going to tie it in. I stripped off a little bit on the bottom, and again, I'm going to tie it in between the wings, concave side forward. I'll wrap back a little bit, and I'll wrap forward, and I'll take the two stems down between the wings. That keeps them split, you know.
And wrap and then clip.
Yeah. Now we don't have the same proportions that we had in the regular wolf. I'm just going to make 1 or 2 wraps in front. That's all. And we got to put our cement down. That's important. It's very important.
Very important.
And in between the wings and on the bottom, this keeps the hackles locked in place, right? We want to take one at a time. Okay, so, and a couple of wraps in front. Again, it's not important the number of wraps you take, just to fill it up. And in fact, you don't even have to put in the grizzly dog green. Not important. I'll use it with just a straight deer hair body, and
what could you put in instead?
Just don't put it in there at all.
Oh, just go with the hackle that you wrapped itself.
After you did your body, put your wings in, and then split them and divide them, and in the back, where you'd see the butts and the thread, just spin on a little bit more deer hair. But you got to be a little bit more careful then clipping up the deer hair.
Nice though, because with this, with the green and the bit of black that's in that hackle you've got there, it adds a bit of separation, contrast, right? Which sort of separates the body from the hackle and the wings from the body and the hack. You know.
Yes, sir.
I notice these things.
You're an observant fellow.
I know, but alrighty.
Okay, now we just got to finish off our head. Now remember this: that you have to close the eye, and then we'll whip finish. And ready for cementing.